Acupuncture in China, no pain, no gain. We all need to slow down and go to acupuncture. Tamara Ecclestone. (2010) July and August. After a restless night's sleep, I reluctantly rose at 5:45 a.m. to attend the early morning Qigong practice that started at 6 a.m. I made my way down the stairs to the courtyard where everyone was stretching. I can't handle waking up this early and still take care of the kids, I murmured to myself. I watched everyone stretch quietly while I waited for the instructor to start. He said a word I couldn't understand and everyone formed 4 rows. I stood at the back of one of the rows and looked at Pascal and shrugged my shoulders. No one explained to us what we would be doing. The instructor began and the group moved in unison, their arms flowing gracefully. Everyone seemed to know the movements. My body, stiff and reluctant, struggled to mirror them at first. The instructor didn't say much, so I had to watch him carefully. I stifled a yawn. My focus drifted as I planned my escape from these early morning sessions. I'm going to learn this form as quickly as I can so I can skip this class and sleep an extra hour in the morning, I planned. After Qigong practice, breakfast was served at 7 a.m. They alternated noodle soup and steamed buns depending on the day. I walked down to the cafeteria with Olivier while Emily had already joined a group of foreigners and was chatting to them happily. First, we had to pass through a dimly lit kitchen to get our soup, where Shifu's sister-in-law sat on a small stool in front of a massive soup pot, the steam rising around her like a veil. She had a giant ladle in one hand and 2 very large chopsticks in the other. Her movements were steady and practiced as she filled bowl after bowl. The line stretched almost to the doorway. Olivier and I joined the end of the line, his small body leaning against my side as he yawned. When it was finally our turn, Shifu's sister-in-law glanced up briefly and smiled to us. Her face was serene but focused as she ladled the steaming soup into my bowl, and then Olivier's. I could feel the heat warm my hands. We carried our bowls to the long wooden table where others had already begun eating. The low hum of quiet conversation and the soft slurping of noodles filled the space. I sat down and handed Olivier his bowl. "Here you go, Olivier," I said gently, watching as he poked at the noodles with his chopsticks. "I don't want to eat this," he mumbled, pushing the bowl away. "I want my cereal." I sighed, setting my own bowl down. "Olivier, this is breakfast. It's all they're serving. You need to eat something." "This is going to be complicated if you don't eat what they serve you, Olivier," I said, lowering my voice as I leaned closer to him. "But I don't like it," he replied, his voice rising slightly. I reached for his bowl and pushed it gently back toward him. "Just try a little, please." Reluctantly, he made an effort and ate some soup. After breakfast, we met with the coaches to be assigned our training groups. Olivier, who was in awe of the level of martial arts at the academy, joined the Chinese kids, hoping to become as proficient as they were. Emily was sent to join them as well, but she was reluctant and didn't have the same aspirations as her brother. I hoped that this cultural immersion would be enriching for both of them. Feeling proud of my Tai Chi practice in Panama, I soon found myself humbled by the high caliber of the academy. Observing the graceful movements of the Chinese students, I recognized my own clumsiness, which inspired me to strive for greater fluidity in my practice. Pierre and I joined the health class, a somewhat ironic term for the group consisting of tourists like us. It amused me that they called it a health class when in reality the training triggered any underlying issues, sending us in search of healing solutions such as Taoist massage, acupuncture, and Chinese medicine. In effect, the final result was a stronger and healthier body, but sometimes the journey was quite painful. Pierre and I were paired with a coach, which renewed our ongoing competition that had started in Panama. Now our disagreements persisted, but without Frank to mitigate them. "No, it isn't like this," I told Pierre, who disagreed and told me that I was the one who had it all wrong. Eventually, the extensive training hours and repetitive practice enabled us to learn the forms and fostered a strange harmony despite our continuing disputes. I was desperate to address the pain I had been shouldering since the accident. As soon as training ended on the first day, I went into town by myself in search of an acupuncture clinic. Following the directions given to me by the office manager, I walked down a muddy alley, carefully dodging dirty puddles. I passed the shops that indicated to me the location of the building and ascended 3 flights of more ugly gray concrete stairs until I found the number I was looking for. I tentatively pushed open the door and, to my relief, discovered a man in a white doctor's coat seated at a desk, engrossed in his desktop computer. The doctor lived with his wife and baby at the clinic. I watched the baby as she chattered incoherently and roamed freely between the patient's beds. Using a translation program on his computer, I conveyed my concerns to the doctor. The cost of the treatment was only $5, so I decided I would go back every day for the rest of the 7 weeks of the summer. Acupuncture therapy in China involves longer needles than they use in the West, and the doctor plunged the needle deeper than I had ever experienced. He didn't stop digging in with the needle until I grunted in pain. This signaled that he had pinpointed the right spot. Once all 21 needles were in my spine, I passed out. A blessing, as I had to lie immobile for 45 minutes with my head face down on a pillow, unable even to scratch an itch. I was treating pain with more pain. I questioned my own tolerance for the treatment. Why do I find enjoyment in this suffering? The buzzer sounded and the doctor carefully removed the needles, and I sighed with relief, wiggling slightly while he prepared the next step. He then introduced bamboo cups, dipping them in a liquid that he flamboyantly ignited with a lighter. As he placed the cups on my back, the fire created a suction effect, holding them firmly in place. Occasionally, a cup lost its grip and fell to the floor. The baby, ever helpful, retrieved it and handed it to her father, who promptly refired and returned it to its position without any sterilization process. This procedure enhanced blood circulation in the cupped areas, aiding in the healing and repair of cells where blood was stagnating. However, it also left bruises on my skin where the cups exerted their suction. After the doctor removed the cups, he ended the treatment with 20 minutes of electromagnetic shock treatment, placing small electric pads where the cups had been. When he got the right spot, it made the muscles go into spasms. During the initial 10 days in China, my nervous system was on overdrive. I bought a rice cooker for Olivier and went to the market every day to buy the ingredients to prepare the soups he missed from home. The bruises running down my back made it uncomfortable to sleep at night. The unforgiving hard beds made sleep elusive. Is it the hard bed or the bruises? I wondered, never quite sure of the culprit for my unrestful sleep. Sleeping on my sides ignited fire in my shoulders. I rotated from one side of the pillow to the other like a roasted chicken on a stick. In the morning, I felt completely baked and ready to be eaten. Relief arrived on the 10th day when Pierre's daughter Melanie joined us for the rest of the summer. She was 17 years old, and it felt like a pressure valve had been released that allowed me to finally let off steam. The kids spent time in Melanie's room playing cards, or out exploring local dishes together in town. Olivier was surprisingly cooperative with his older sister, which provided me with the chance to nap between training sessions and help me regain control over my frazzled system. Despite undergoing weeks of acupuncture, practicing Qigong, and engaging in Tai Chi, my suffering persisted. I sensed that a crucial element was still missing for me to live pain-free. The breakthrough came during an evening practice while standing in meditation. My coach, Yi Hui, touched my left shoulder, which is where I carried a lifetime's worth of grudges, grief, and self-hatred stemming from all the uncontrolled outbursts and rage. Initially, I misunderstood his intention, thinking he meant my shoulders were raised. so I shook them to convey relaxation. However, when he applied pressure and pushed my left shoulder down, the pain disappeared. In that moment, a light bulb went on in my head and I grasped the key to releasing the pain. Mindfully pushing my left shoulder down became a ritual. The shortened muscles on the left side of my neck and shoulders would habitually rise, but through gentle, conscious effort, a significant portion of the pain was alleviated. This allowed me to metaphorically set down the bricks I had been carrying.